skills, forged their bodies, and sharpened their minds. The stage is set, and they're ready to unleash their might.
Hey, hey. No friends in the industry. I had to draw the line between my brothers and my enemies.
We said 60 minutes. One by one, we're gonna knock it down.
Keep it rap. Yeah, you hit us up and now we owe you something back. Yeah, I had to draw the line between my brothers and my enemies. My brothers and my enemies. My brothers and my enemies. Yeah, I know hey, yeah. No friends in the industry. I had to draw the line between my brothers and my enemies. A fact. Let us start if you don't want to keep it rap. Yeah, you hit us up and now we owe you something back.
We're gonna be great, man. I can't wait.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back, and it is Jets football day, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to watch the New York Jets dominate the Buffalo Bills, and I couldn't be more excited. I'm your host, James. Joining me, as always, is my man that you see on the Jets promo commercials, Mr. Eric Fajardo. You might recognize him with that bandana and the mustache starting to come in. It maybe you might be able to recognize him a little bit better.
That's it. Got to stay true to character, baby. Got to stay true to character. I'm in
real
all those
quick.
Commercials. This is who it is.
This is some Don Juan Delanucci
That's
in the
it,
flesh.
baby.
Please, if you're here, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. It helps us tickle the algorithm. It really helps us out, especially as a new channel. We're going to talk tons of Bills and Jets today and what we think and how the game is going to play out. We're going to touch on the MMA fights this weekend a little bit. We got a ton to talk about. We really appreciate everybody that's tuning in. But Eric, let's kick it off with the MMA because this happened over the weekend.
Yeah.
On Saturday, there was a solid card. Like, it was an underwhelming name card. There was no name recognition except for Israel Adesanya. Unless you're a big fight fan, you obviously know Sean Strickland or Tua Taivasa. But other than that, like, it was a very underwhelming hype card, and the card itself was awesome. I thought the fights all night, even the prelims. There was a lot of really good fights throughout the night, but I really want to talk about the big upset in the main event, and Strickland beating Adesanya, and I loved it. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Izzy. I'm kind of against the grain in my opinion. I think a lot of people love to hate on Izzy. I think
it's people in your circle that hate on Izzy, right? It's like you people.
Oh, white people?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Listen,
No.
I love Izzy. Phenomenal fighter. I love watching. I love watching him at his best when he's the most creative. But like when you watch that main event, at the end of the day, Strickland did what every fighter who's fighting a counter striker should do. Right?
It was a perfect game plan.
He stayed disciplined. He pressed forward the whole time. Like, counter strikers want you to press forward, but he pressured forward the whole time without overreaching, without getting overzealous. He was super disciplined. All he threw was jabs and crosses essentially the entire time. He looked phenomenal. And I heard his coaches, like, because in between rounds they show what the coaches are saying. I heard his coaches saying, like, we got to get him out of here, all that other shit, whatever. I was like here in my basement by myself, just like yelling, like, no, bad advice.
Terrible advice.
Just keep doing what you're fucking doing. And he fucking did it, dude. He felt it in the fight. He just stuck around. He stayed in his space. He stayed super disciplined. He kept his guard up the entire time. He caught him early, built up that lead, and then continued to chip away the entire fight. It was fucking masterful. It was perfect. It was perfect.
It was a brilliant fight by Strickland, and I think I don't want to take anything away from Strickland when I say I don't think that was Izzy's best fight. He did look a little slow. He didn't look as sharp as he normally does. But you also have to credit Strickland with his game plan and how he fought his fight. Like you said, super disciplined, didn't overextend, and it was literally just 1-2 all day down the pipe. He picked his shots. The occasional lead hook came in. But other than that, he didn't throw anything big power shots. Even that straight hand that dropped Izzy wasn't really a power shot. It just hit the button. It was a perfect shot.
Perfect technique. Perfect technique.
I think that changed the fight completely. I think Izzy was a lot more hesitant to step in the pocket and counter after that, especially because Sean wasn't overreaching and he didn't really give many opportunities for him to counter. It was a big game changer in my opinion, but Izzy, I don't think, and that was early on in the fight. So that could have been why Izzy was slow. That could have been why Izzy didn't look as sharp because he got rocked early. That was early.
I mean, if you look at his body, I thought Izzy's body looked a little flat. It looked like he just made the weight, didn't really take it too serious. I don't know, but it looked like his body wasn't like well conditioned for a war. I think he thought he was going to get Strickland out of there early, and I'll tell you this right now. Yeah, and I'll tell you this right now. Like that performance from Strickland reminded me of prime Nick Diaz when he was on his way up, and all he did was smother. Yeah, just so fucking simple, simple. Push forward, straight punches, nothing fancy.
Cut off angles in the cage.
Cut off angles. Don't bite on anything fancy. And he just stuck to him, point A to point B. It was all day. Right. It was 5 rounds straight. And the fact that he hurt him was great. Like honestly, he would have won if he didn't hurt him anyway. But the fact that he did only helps solidify the fact that, you know what, at the end of the day, I don't feel like Izzy deserves the rematch. I thought he was outclassed. I think he's got to work his way up. I think that weight class needs fresh blood. Needs to like recycle that belt a little bit because, you know, Dana White knows Strickland, his expiration date is soon, right? Like I don't think Strickland is the best fighter in the world at 185. It is what it is, right? You got Whitaker, you got Stylebender, you got Duplessis. I don't think he's the best fighter in the world at 185. I think that Dana knows the best way to sell pay-per-views is to move the belt around. And I don't think you give Stylebender that rematch. I think you go either Duplessis or you give Whitaker that fight. Or the winner of Khamzat and Costa. So
my man Brendan in the chat says Izzy will be back. And I agree with you, Eric. I think he needs to get at least one more win under his belt. Like it'd be one thing if he didn't lose to Pereira and have to come back. Like if this was like ending the streak of him winning all of these middleweight defense titles, it'd be a totally different story. I'd say, yeah, sure. He earned an immediate rematch because of his title reign, just because of that alone. But because this is only his first defense since he's got the title back, I don't think he deserves a rematch at all, an immediate rematch. I think if he goes back and, fights I'd still like to see him fight Duplessis. Like, what if they set that up instead and give Whitaker the shot, even though I don't think Whitaker deserves it right now either. It's just kind of
I would say you go winner of Khamzat and Paulo Costa because Khamzat's going to win that fight.
Yep.
And Brendan,
Paulo Costa's a beast, dude. I agree. I agree. I think Khamzat's going to win, but I wouldn't, just like Strickland. Like I wouldn't sleep on a guy like Paulo Costa, dude. Like I said that before this fight. I said, man, I think Izzy's going to win, but I think everybody's sleeping on Strickland. Like he's really shut down everybody except for getting knocked out by Pereira.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly like Strickland. I like Strickland against Costa, but I don't think Costa's fought a wrestler like Khamzat. Now, Yoel is a great wrestler, but he doesn't use it because he's preserving his gas tank. I think Khamzat's going to run. I think Khamzat's going to run through him. But anyway, to Brendan's point, I think Izzy can be back. I think the question is, has he been famous for this long? Has he been a champion for this long?
That's
Has he been the
tough.
face of the UFC for this long to where he's going to get that Conor McGregor effect? Like, where's Conor been, right? His last couple fights, he just hasn't looked the same. And at the end of the day, when you're doing that much media, you're doing that much press, then you pair that with your weigh-ins, and you got to fight. It's like, bro, you already made your money. You struggled all your life. Like Izzy came from nothing. You struggled all your life. You finally made it. It's like, I appreciate Izzy's legacy. And if he hung it up right here, I still look at him as one of the best to ever do it at 185.
No question.
But this could be the end of it. And as a realistic MMA fan and as someone who competes in this shit, there's a good chance that he's kind of checked out right now. There's a good chance he's kind of checked out.
It's very, very difficult to keep that hunger as an MMA fighter. Like I fought for years, man. And, it's such hard training. It's your body gets beat up. It's a lot of wear and tear. And it's a big mental game as well. And to be that good and be on top for as long as Izzy was is very difficult to do. There's a reason why people admire long reigning champions. Like they get the recognition that they get because not many people do. Like think about so many weight classes, how many guys are one and done. They win the title, they're out. Like every I feel like every weight class right now the champ is rotating. Like there hasn't been besides middleweight, there hasn't really been a champ that's been. I mean, Volkanovski as well. You got to give it to him, and Amanda Nunes just retiring. But really, other than that, the titles have been changing hands every couple fights, pretty much. There hasn't been an 8-10 fight reign in any of those divisions in a long time. It's very difficult to do. So you got to give credit to Izzy for being the champ for that long and coming back against a guy like Pereira who has had his number for so many years, knocking him out cold. But he didn't look the same in this fight, whether it was the early knockdown in the first fight, in the first round, or it was just he underestimated Strickland and thought he was just that much better, which is very possible. Like Strickland was 5th ranked. They were just basically giving him the shot because they needed someone to fill the hole of Duplessis, and he didn't train as hard. That's also a very good possibility, and maybe he is a true warrior and is going to come back and be better than he was. That's also a possibility. He could have that warrior mentality. He is a great champion, and I'd love to see him back at peak form. He's one of the most exciting fighters to watch. He's explosive. His striking, his technique is flawless in many cases. It's very fun to watch. And I hope we do see some more Izzy fights, and this isn't the end of his career. But who knows? We'll see what happens. He says he's going to hang out with his family, and we'll see what his plans are in the future.
I agree. And then just to close out the MMA segment, because we got some real shit going on, a real sport going on.
Yes. I wouldn't say a real sport, but it is a real sport. But say, if we were talking basketball, I could see what you're saying. But we're still talking about some absolute savages
Absolutely.
In MMA.
But just to close it out, not only is it a hats off to Strickland what he did, not only am I
much respect,
taking into account that, maybe Izzy overlooked him, but this is just the landscape of MMA today, bro. Mm-hmm. We're not going to see another Anderson Silva defend the belt 11 times. We're not going to see another Demetrius Johnson defend the belt 10 times. We're not going to see that. Everything's catching up so fast. And at the same time, right, there's two different aspects of this, right? You got the talent level, and then you have the level of notoriety that MMA is gaining. Right. Yep. So we're talking about how much money people are making for one title fight compared to how hard it is to get to that title fight. So you win your first championship fight, you ain't making 30 grand anymore. You're making real money. You defend it one time, you're set for life. And
in many cases, yes. In many cases, because you're getting pay-per-view revenue, especially
sponsorships.
Especially if absolutely. Especially if you can get tagged on like a double championship fight, like you're making big money. Even if you're a co-main defending a title, there's a lot of money in MMA now coming in, and a lot of people were questioning that fight whether it was real because it looked like Izzy wasn't trying, and I kept telling them, I was like, listen, you just don't understand striking. Like, you don't understand the game plan that Strickland played in that fight. It was perfect. He fought a flawless fight, in my opinion. Flawless. It was a perfect fight. You could even give him all 5 rounds. I think it was 4-1 in my opinion. But the second round was very, very, very close and could have gone either way, and that's the round everybody's given Izzy. So it was a great fight. I would love to see a rematch. I would love to see how Izzy could come back with a different game plan and maybe prepare properly for a guy like Strickland. But at the same time, I don't think he deserves it. So maybe if Strickland can defend it once and Izzy can win the fight, we could see a rematch down the road. But we'll see. So, Eric, we got another swish. Go Bills. Josh Allen, 110 yards rushing, 320 passing. This guy is on drugs. We need on the Jets defense. This guy is on drugs. But on that note, we're gonna dive right into Monday Night Football.
Oh, don't even get me started.
ETS Jets. Ladies and gentlemen, let's fucking go. It's going to be a great game. I am so excited for tonight's. I since Aaron Rodgers has been a member of this team, I couldn't wait for today. Like that anticipation for tonight's game was a lot. I haven't been like this for Jets football in a very long time. Like 2000,
especially against this team, especially against this fucking team.
No
Don't even get me started, motherfucker. Talking about Josh Allen going off. Let's talk about it then. Let's talk about it. Josh Allen hasn't gone off against the Jets in his entire career.
Nope.
He's got a lot of rushing yards.
Even when we were shit.
Whatever. Even when we were shit. So let's talk about it. Last year, the Jets should have swept the Bills, right? We're cycling in quarterbacks like we don't know who the hell can even throw the ball, who can call the offense. Joe Flacco comes in for one play, fumbles, gives it up. Michael Carter fumbles. Bullshit. Yeah, this defense has Josh Allen's number.
Got fucking lawn chaired. He was literally folded like a lawn chair.
It was brutal.
And he's stuck in the game. Josh Allen struggles mightily against the New York Jets defense, and the Jets defense has only gotten better. And guess what? We're going to be able to score points. I really think Von Miller missing in this game is going to be a big piece for the Bills, and it's going to make them struggle on defense getting to the quarterback. I think we have a lot of questions. I don't think weaknesses. A lot of people say our offensive line is weak. I don't think that's the case. AVT is an all-pro caliber guard, can play anywhere on the line. Dwayne Brown played very well last year. McGovern played solid. He didn't play great, but he played solid. Langston Tomlinson needs to step up this year, and Mekhi Becton need to step up this year. And I think if those guys play, like Langston Tomlinson has put out Pro Bowl caliber play in this league. He has been a Pro Bowler before. Mekhi Becton, his rookie year was very, very good. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy. If he can show his dominance at the right guard position or the right tackle position, I really think that our offensive line is no longer a weakness. It may be a strength. And without Von Miller, it's going to be difficult. But before we really dive in, because I do want to address what we think the stats are going to be.
Okay.
He said Aaron and Josh are good friends. If Buffalo doesn't take the AFC East this year, I hope it's the New York Jets. Good luck. Go Rodgers. Appreciate you, Switch. That's a very kind take from a Bills fan. Very interesting. Not many Bills fans like the Jets, and not many Jets fans like the Bills. So I give you respect there. But
100%.
But before we dive into the Jets Bills, I don't want to gloss over the importance of today, September 11th. Especially for people that grew up in the tri-state New York, New Jersey area, Jets fans, Giants fans, and the importance of today and the remembrance of today, not just the people that were lost, but all of the people that were heroes on that day, the NYPD, the FDNY, the EMS service. We live in a great, great country, and it's a day to remember what we really have in this country and what we really are fighting for. This game is something that we get to enjoy as a free nation, and
100%.
We have to remember that there's a lot of sacrifice that people make so we can enjoy this game and watch our Jets play the Bills. And sports are a very big part of this country, and sports brought us back together in many cases after those terrible attacks on 9/11. I'll never forget the game, the Jets versus the Patriots first game back after 9/11, where Mo Lewis knocked out Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady became Tom Brady. That was the first game after the Twin Towers collapsed. I'll never forget that game. But the impact that sports made and bringing people together, like it was wild. Patriots fans were rooting for the Jets. They had Jets signs. Like it was amazing to see what sports could do and how sports could bring this country together. And
that's when you realize like we all have our rivalries. We all have our teams we root for from different parts of the country. But at the end of the day, like when our country is being attacked, we're all Americans, man.
We're all on the same team, and
except for Cowboys fans.
Well, I would say fishing, but Patriots fans. But okay, fair. But yeah, no, that's why I give respect to a guy like another Swish. You know, we do have our sports rivalries, and it's fun. It's fun to talk shit. It's fun to go back and forth and say, oh, this, that, and the other about the game. But there's something way bigger than that. And today's one of those days that we really need to remember that. And I'm very excited for tonight's game and the pregame remembrance that they're going to do. It's going to be really cool to see. So God bless America, and let's go Jets. Jets.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. Now
let's get into it, dog.
Jets football. It's going to be a really fun game. I think this game can go many ways. Me personally, I think the Bills are going to really, really struggle with the Jets defense. We've seen all day yesterday. I watched football all day, and almost every single game, offenses struggled and defenses ate. They played very well on the defensive side of the football in almost every single game. There's very few games where the offenses really played well. The Dolphins, Chargers, the 49ers played really well on offense, but not many teams played well on offense all day. There was a lot of struggles. And I think the Jets defense is really going to have an opportunity to flex and show off on national television against a team that's, in the public's eye, a Super Bowl contender, a Josh Allen, one of the better quarterbacks in the league. And if we can, show what we did last year, because nobody was watching the Jets last year. Nobody watched the Jets Bills. And so the first game where we sacked them 5 times and Bryce Huff got in and strip sacked him. And that's why he hurt his arm and was not the same the rest of the year. Nobody was watching those games. We dominated on defense in those games. And I'm very excited to see, I want to jump right into this. I'm very excited to see how the Bills prepared for this Jets defense, because that they're not going to give the same looks. That they're not going to come out there and do the same things that they did last year with a full year to prepare. I think Sean McDermott's a great coach. He loves to draft wrestlers. He thinks wrestlers have the heart and hunger. I love that about him. He's a wrestler himself. I'm a big fan of Sean McDermott. I wish, when he was available, I wish the Jets grabbed him as a coach.
Nope.
So I don't think he's going to come out there and have the same game plan against this tough Jets defense. And I think
not at all. I think that, first of all, I would pin Sean McDermott in under 30 seconds. Second of all,
I'm well aware of this, Eric. I've wrestled you. I've trained with some of the best people in the world, and I've struggled. I have more struggle with you than any other training partner I've ever trained against, and some are world class.
I could appreciate his mindset. Love it. Cool. Don't care. At the end of the day, I know that he's going to come out different game plan. You have to, right? You can't have a seven-step drop against his defense. It's going to be quick passes if you can get them off, right? Our coverage is tight enough to keep it close to where you're not going to do that. I think it's going to be a lot of dump offs. The new wrinkle for the Buffalo Bills offense is going to be the fact that they added a new tight end.
That's
right?
what someone just said in the chat. Kincaid is going to be able to –
exactly.
They also have Knox still. They also have Knox.
So they're going to run a lot of 21. They're going to keep them underneath, and I think that's going to be the X factor. It's going to be our linebackers and safeties versus their tight ends and slot receivers. That's what it's going to be all day. We know Michael Carter is money as a nickel.
One of the best nickel corners in football. I think he's one of the most underrated, like DJ Reed corners 100%. In football.
and that's a very tough position to play. But it's going to come down to did Quincy make the jump? Did Quincy Williams make that jump to where he can get into coverage?
Yep.
And two, like
Sherwood.
Mosley is great, but he's not a coverage linebacker by trade, right? He changed his body to fit into Sal's defense because he wanted to be here, which is beautiful. I love it. That's why he's the leader of our team. That's why that's the general. But will he correct his mistakes? He's a tackling machine.
That's what he is. He's a tackling machine. I think of Bobby Boucher, tackling machine.
Tackling machine, bro. And so are we going to get to those tight ends quick enough? Are we going to get to those slot receivers quick enough? Because personally, I think that between DJ Reed and Sauce and then, another X factor that we'll get into, Tony Adams, I think we're going to be able to stop the pass downfield. It's going to be what happens intermediate. It's going to be what happens with Mosley, Quincy, Michael Carter. And then Sherwood is a new guy in there. Yep. I don't think Sherwood's – I think that Amos is going to see more time as like a box safety, like as an extra linebacker. Exactly. He's going to be our Quan Alexander. That's going to be the question. I think we picked him up because of the Bills. I think everything we do in the offseason, free agents, draft, everything we do is at the Bills. Plain and simple.
I think that definitely plays a factor, but you also look at what we're doing with our cornerbacks as well. You look at what Miami's doing with their wide receivers and how they played yesterday. Their offense was very explosive. And what I've been saying to a lot of people is like, there's no way that Tua is putting 400 plus yards up and Tyreek's putting up 200 yards against the Jets. That's not happening. Like, there's no way they're going to have that time in the pocket. There's no way that they're going to be that open all of the time against our cornerbacks. They don't have. I agree. I think Dalton Kincaid could be an X factor for the Bills. But from what I'm hearing is he's having his rookie struggles. He's a rookie.
Every tight end goes through it.
Every rookie tight end goes through it. Not many tight ends are very good, and Knox is still a very good tight end. You can't. I think he's going to get a lot more looks than Kincaid in this game. Personally, they're going to run a threat,
though.
Of course. And they're going to run a lot of two tight end sets. But I also think another X factor in this game, and I'm very excited for this because it is the Dalvin James Cook versus the James Dalvin Cook brother versus brother battle at the running back position. And I think James Cook is much better. Me personally, I think he's much better than a guy like Devin Singletary. And I think the Bills have really been missing an explosive running back that could be a game changer, whether he catches the ball or runs the ball. And I think James Cook has that kind of ability. He hasn't shown it yet, but I think that is definitely a possibility that they lean more on that and try to get the linebackers to step in so they can hit the guys like Kincaid and Knox over the middle. I think James Cook can be an X factor. But, we have a very deep front seven. We're going to be able to rotate guys. Our guys are going to be fresh all day. And it really is going to be our defense showing off and flexing on the entire country that, hey, we are what's advertised. We're going to shut down one of the best, what you guys think is going to be one of the best offenses in football, and win this game on defense and allow Aaron Rodgers to be Aaron Rodgers and score a couple touchdowns. I expect there to be some rust. I expect there to be some new chemistry issues with the weapons that he has. It's the first game of the season. We saw it all day yesterday with even some of the best, most polished teams like the Bengals. Even it was shocking to see in some of these games. So I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility for the Jets with a new quarterback, with a new offensive coordinator. But I also think that they've put in the time. There's a reason why Aaron Rodgers was at OTAs. There's a reason why he went to all the offseason programs and he's going to these Broadway shows and hanging out with all of these guys. Like, there's a reason for that.
But realistically, I think the difference is literally Aaron Rodgers, right? Like, you look at the Bengals-Browns game, shit show, complete shit show on both sides of offense. Like, I don't care that Deshaun kind of came back at the end, whatever. Ball slippery, both defenses are aggressive, whatever. The difference is that Rodgers is not going to be afraid to take what's open. And if you look at all of those teams over the weekend, like, for me personally, yesterday was sloppy football all around, right?
No question.
It's
On the
taking shots
offensive side of the
downfield.
football.
On the offensive side of football, sloppy all around. Rodgers is not going to care. And what matters most is the fact that Hackett is going to let Rodgers do what he wants. Rodgers is the one seeing the pressure, seeing the coverage, seeing the defense. He's going to be like, whatever, take what we can, until it comes to the point where he could take a shot downfield, doesn't work, okay, we're going back to the checkdowns. I think that, and when I look at all those teams, like even when I look at Dallas versus the Giants, I'm like, I have faith that Rodgers is not going to allow that offensive play calling. He's going to change it at the line. He's gonna throw it short. He's gonna chip away slowly. He's gonna check to a run. He's gonna check to a draw. He's gonna check to a slant. I want to see all that, and I think that's a huge difference, right? That's our Mosley on offense. That's why our defense is so good. It's because they're changing plays at the line on defense, and now we have that on offense. So as fucking potent as the Bills defense is, and I really do like a lot of people are like discounting the Bills defense.
No,
I think
good.
the Bills.
Even
I think they're
without Von
really
Miller,
good. I think they're really good, especially because like
You get Trey White back.
and they replace. They brought in Leonard Floyd, who's a stud, but their linebackers, or their linebacker, right? Matt
And
Milano,
Oliver, a defensive tackle.
D-tackle. Milano himself is a game changer. We saw it. We saw it the second Bills game. He folded Mike White. He fucking crushed. It was the craziest hit I think I've ever seen on a quarterback, and
didn't get flagged.
It didn't get flagged, but it was a clean hit. It was
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
I know. I'm just making fun of today's NFL. I agree. It was a clean hit.
Exactly. So it's like, I see all that. You think Rodgers hasn't watched the film? You know what I mean? Like, you think he's not aware of that? You think he's not going to just check it down? He's got the weapons for checkdowns. He's got our whole offense besides Lazard and maybe Cobb. It's all yak. It's all yak. You got Hardman. You got Garrett Wilson. You got Brees. You got Cook. Michael Carter, if he catches a ball out of the backfield. It is all yak. Fucking Izzy, if he catches the ball out of the backfield. It's all yak. I think they're going to use that as much as possible to set up the deep ball. And then that's when you see Lazard. That's when you see Garrett Wilson one-on-one in the red zone. That's when you see Conklin.
We discussed it in our first episode. The Jets offense presents a lot of problems for every defense because we have two running backs who are game-changing running backs. Brees may not be 100% to what he was last year at this point, but he will be at one point in the season. But at the same time, he's still a very good running back, and I expect a big things from him. From what I hear from Joe Douglas, he's going to be playing a lot in the slot, and there's going to be a lot of two running back sets. So I expect them to utilize both of them. But at the same time, both of those guys deserve respect in the box. Most of the time, they get 8 guys in the box. Brees Hall, when he was in and terrorizing the league, saw nothing but 8 men in the box. Nobody was worried about Zach Wilson throwing the ball. It was 8 guys in the box, and Brees Hall was running wild all over the field until he got hurt, and our team drastically changed.
Yep.
Dalvin Cook, the same thing. He's only 28 years old. He's not like he's in his 30s yet. He's consistent, played very well.
He hit an 81-yard touchdown last year against the Bills.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk about it. Talk about it. Come on now. Stop fucking playing with me, James. Stop playing with me, bro. We got guys that could take it to the house. We got multiple guys that could take it to the house on any play.
That's what. So from the backfield. So now the defense is going to have to decide. The Bills defense, which I agree is good, they're going to have to decide. All right, do we give Dalvin Cook and Brees Hall just a free hole? Like, do we just let them take 3, 4, 5 yards at a clip? Because they will do that. The Jets will do that all day. Aaron Rodgers will check down to a run. He has no problem handing the ball off all day if you give him handoffs and runs all day. He has no 100%. Problem. And then all of a sudden he'll play action with the best play action in maybe football history and throw a deep ball with McCall Hardman, who's got ridiculous speed, or even Garrett Wilson, who's got ridiculous speed. But that's the exact same thing. Oh, you have Anthony Fernandez is in the chat.
That guy's a piece of shit.
What a piece of shit that guy is. Everybody in the chat, tell him he's an idiot for deleting his message.
Oh man,
But
that guy's a psycho.
he said he'll always take a free hole. This guy.
I heard some things about that guy, by the way. Yeah. Be careful. Be careful around that guy, Anthony Fernandez.
Real careful, real shady character. But no, I really think that those two guys in the backfield, not even including Michael Carter or Izzy, just those two guys alone make a defense have to, worry about what's coming out of the backfield every single play. And then we have guys like Garrett Wilson, Mecole Hardman, Allen Lazard, and Aaron Rodgers throwing them the football. Like, I truly believe if Breece Hall didn't get hurt last year, we're a playoff team and we're making a run in the playoffs because our defense is shutting people down and Breece Hall is able to run all over the field. It's a great recipe for winning football in the postseason is good defenses and a good running game. So
yeah, maybe though. That's the thing. Maybe, right? Like this is my whole thing. Like, yes, we were at the point last season where it was like, all right, you win one game, you're going to the playoffs. But I had no faith in it, right? Because none of our quarterbacks, even Joe Flacco, who's been in the league for 48 years, no one's reading a blitz. No one's making checks at the line. No one's doing anything. And it was just like, oh, all you got to do is stack the box, blitz the quarterback, the game's over.
Yep.
Now we have Rodgers, who's going to read those things. He's going to read them. And not to mention, like, let's say we're losing going into halftime. I have more faith now in our offense to make the adjustments to make a comeback. Last season, it was like we got to see multiple times. Oh, the defense made adjustments because right, first season of Saleh, defense didn't make adjustments. That was the biggest criticism. They didn't make adjustments at halftime, whatever. But the reality is, it's all fucking rookies and it's a new scheme. Second year, they're making adjustments and they're getting stronger as the game goes on. Now best case scenario, we're counting on our defense to make those adjustments again, but now we have the offense making those adjustments. And when I talk about complementary football, I'm talking about it on all levels. Yeah, our D-line is stacked, right? We have a bunch of dudes, but it's not just a bunch of heads. It's a bunch of dudes that complement each other. Mm-hmm. Any combination you put out there is going to complement each other. We got run stuffers. We got pass rushers. We got fat dudes. We got fucking speed guys. That's all that matters. Everywhere on this roster is complementing each other. Our receivers, our tight ends, our running backs, everywhere, it's a different look. And you have to account for all those different looks.
Before we get into the defense, I do want to stick to the offense right now.
Yes.
Because you're absolutely right. Where they're all guys that could be great, and I want to talk about a couple of key guys like John Franklin Myers and some guys that can be really, really good this year that have potential and have put out good film and good tape. But with the offense, you're absolutely right. I think Aaron Rodgers brings a different layer to this offense, and the Bills have no idea what to expect. They have no clue. This is totally new to them because it's not the same offensive coordinator that they saw last year, so they don't even know what to expect. They only can game plan for the defense. That's the only thing that they can do. And throughout the years that McDermott has been there, the Jets have been able to keep the Bills offense at bay pretty much the entire time McDermott and Josh Allen were in Buffalo. Very few times I don't think they've ever really put up like a crazy game against us. Like the Patriots.
His worst two games last season, his worst two statistical games last season. Google that shit. His worst two games was against the Jets.
So we'll get into that. But I really think Aaron Rodgers and that running game is going to set up a lot of opportunities for our wide receivers. It's going to set up a lot of opportunities. I think the most under talked about weapons that we have on this offense is our tight end room. Whether it's Ruckert, whether it's Uzama or Tyler Conklin, who I think is going to lead the pack. Tyler Conklin was second on the team last year in targets. And throughout Aaron Rodgers' career, he loves his tight ends. He always uses his tight ends, especially around the red zone. He loves to hit them in the red zone. Aaron Rodgers utilizes his tight ends all of the time. Like I always watched Packer games, and all of a sudden you'd see their tight end in the middle of the field and nobody around him. And you're like, Like the Jets never get a guy that open. Like that doesn't happen ever. And their tight end, there's not even a guy within 15 yards and he's just running down the field. And he uses them all the time in the end zone. And I think guys like Tyler Conklin are going to eat. And I think tonight they'll run two tight end sets with Uzama. I think Uzama is going to get the snaps early on the year. And I eventually think Ruckert will take them over. And I really still believe that Ruckert might mold himself into that Kuhn role. Like he can block, he can catch the ball, and he can move the ball after he has the ball in his possession, whether it's in open space or if he's a fullback. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see him, just get opportunities because he's that good. But right now I think Uzama and Conklin are going to be our two tight end sets. We're going to run a ton of two tight end sets for play action opportunities, also for running opportunities. And I think those tight ends, especially Conklin, are going to eat. I think Tyler Conklin is going to be a big problem for this defense because they're going to be so keyed on Garrett Wilson, so keyed on the running backs that guys like Tyler Conklin are going to be able to slip into the open space and get a ton of volume and move the chains.
Yeah, I agree. And let's be real. Aaron Rodgers made Robert Tonyan famous. Let's be real. He got him a second contract. His first year off that second contract, he got nothing. And I know that because I picked him up in fantasy, and I got nothing off that motherfucker. Aaron Rodgers will make superstars out of whoever is there. Do not sleep on anyone on our offensive roster. Do not sleep on Brownlee. Do not sleep on Gibson. Do not sleep on Hardman. He is going to throw the ball to the open guy every time.
Is Brownlee a healthy scratch?
Last time I saw he was in, unless you have another update.
No, I heard he might be a healthy scratch. I haven't seen it. That's why I was asking. Maybe you knew.
No. I mean, well, then bring Mims back. Let's go.
No, he shouldn't be a healthy scratch. But
I haven't heard anything about him.
No, but we'll. There's a couple guys on the depth chart. They're saying Dwayne Brown or the depth chart, the injury report, Dwayne Brown and Mekhi Becton, of course. It's very important that our offensive line sets the tone. It's very important. I really think that if our offensive line doesn't set the tone early and our running game struggles, it's going to be a long day for our offense. I think if this was mid-season and we've got a lot of games under our belt, I wouldn't be as worried about our offensive line not performing to the highest level because Aaron Rodgers is good at getting the ball out of his hands quickly, making the adjustments, etc., to get to the open guy quick. But because there's going to be that rust, that new chemistry build that they're going to have to go through. It's very naive to think that there's not going to be some sort of miscommunications early on with the offense. And if our offensive line really, really struggles today, this defense is going to give Aaron Rodgers a ton of problems. But I don't expect that because our offensive line performed very well against them last year. I think our offensive line is better this year. And I think Aaron Rodgers is better fit to handle their defense than a guy like Mike White or Zach Wilson was last year. So
100%.
Every single – go ahead.
So, my whole thing is, I think that the Jets and Bills are, evenly matched to a certain degree, right? I think it's contextual, right? I think defensively, we probably have the edge on the D-line, safeties, linebackers. I'd probably give it to the Bills, whatever. Offense, I think we have more weapons. I think our line is better than theirs. I think our quarterback is smarter than theirs. Doesn't necessarily mean more productive. But I think it's going to come down to plain and simple, game time shit, meaning whoever gets the ball first, let's say we're on defense, we're on offense, we have to make a statement early. We have to hit them in the mouth fast. You got to think, they're another New York team. All you're hearing about are the Jets. We beat them at home last year. The Bills have all the motivation in the world to come out as fiery as possible, and I expect them to come out as fiery as possible. Mm-hmm. The best way, in my experience with competing against somebody who is super fired up and most of the time a false confidence, right? They're wrapped up in the moment and they're like, I should be fired up for this. I should be angry for this. The best way to stop that in its tracks is to hit them in the mouth first, is to take away their confidence first. If we get the ball first, score first. If we're on defense first, sack Allen on third down, get that punt return back. I think it's going to come down to momentum at the end of the day, because at high-level competition, it's those little things. It's what happens throughout the game. It's what happens with momentum. It's what happens with you versus me. I feel good. You feel good. Who's going to be the first one to second-guess themselves? We have to make them second-guess themselves right off the bat. Right off the bat. And then we have to do it again one more time. And I think we can run away with it.
I think so. Mason in the chat, our man Mason, wants to know, another psycho. Careful of that guy. Just like Anthony Fernandez. Careful.
Yes. Creeps.
But I think our defense matches up perfectly for the Bills and their weapons. I really do. I think Dalton Kincaid adds a wrinkle, and I think that's why they drafted Dalton Kincaid, because I think they knew that they're going to struggle on the outside with Sauce and Reed. But I think so like any other wide receivers, Gabe Davis, Stefan Diggs, et cetera, are going to struggle. I really think that they're going to be held. Like, I don't think Stefan Diggs is going to break 50 yards. I really don't think that's going to happen. But we'll get into the defense in a second, because Mason goes, what do you guys want to see first, the offensive or the defensive unit? And you just brought that up. If we have the ball first, we need to score. And if we are on defense first, we need to stop them on third down. Me personally, I want the defense to be on the field first. I want the defense to go out there and make a statement, sack them in the first drive, make a statement, force them to throw the ball early on third down, put tons and tons of pressure on Josh Allen, let him know it's going to be a long day. We have fresh guys. We have a full rotation of defensive linemen that are going to be in your face all night long. So we set the tone, 3 and out, boom, we get the ball. Aaron Rodgers, does what he does, whether he scores a touchdown and has a drive or not. I think the defense set the tone in that first drive and is going to make Josh Allen uncomfortable all night, and he does not do well when he's being pressured that way. So
I'm on the opposite side.
Go ahead.
I'm on the opposite side. I would like to see the Bills win the toss, make us get the ball first, because that means they're expecting our offense to struggle early. I'd like to see our offense come out, scoring drive right away, touchdown. And it's a different game when the offense has to rebound for the defense than when the defense has to rebound for the offense. On defense, you can kind of pin your ears back and kind of go rage mode. On offense, if you're overzealous, that's when you get incomplete passes. That's when you get wrong routes. Or that's when the home field advantage takes over. You can't hear the snap count. I would love to see Aaron Rodgers take the field first, score a touchdown. The crowd is going absolutely insane. And when their offense comes out, 3 and out, we get the ball back again. Crowd goes quiet. We score one more time. I want to go up 14-0 in the first quarter. I think that sets the tone. I think that breaks their will, right? Because they have to gas themselves up to go against us. They know the only reason why they beat us that second time is because our quarterback was trash. Yep. They know they were outmatched on defense. They know that we have the weapons on offense. They didn't even see Breece Hall yet. They didn't even see Breece Hall yet. They didn't even see
Dalvin Cook. We haven't even seen Dalvin Cook.
That's what I'm saying.
We haven't seen 100%. Nothing from our backfield. It's been the Zonovan White night show in the backfield.
James Robinson. I don't want to hear none of that shit. I want our offense to come out firing. I think Rodgers is known. He'll throw it deep on the first drive if he sees it. I want to score first drive, shut them down on their first drive, score again. And I think the game's over if we do that. I think it's a 100%. Lot.
Listen, if that happens, I will be ecstatic. That's a dream scenario, without a doubt. But it's a very possible scenario, 100% possible scenario that we come out and score in the first drive, shut them down on their first drive and score again. That's definitely in the realm of possibility. We have the weapons. We can definitely do it. And I listen, I've been saying for the past week and a half that I expect 4 tutties from Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdown passes from Aaron Rodgers tonight. I think 2 are going to go to Garrett. I think Dalvin Cook's going to get 1. And I think Tyler Conklin's going to get another 1. That's my personal prediction for this evening's matchup on offense for the Jets. But I think very early, I think they're going to get the ball out. They're going to score. They're going to try to score early. And if we get the ball, I'd be interested to see what the Jets do if the Jets win the toss. Like, that's what I want to know, what their thought process. I'm sure Salah's a defensive guy. He's going to want the defense on the field.
Yeah,
like, that's
they're going to defer.
Yeah,
they're going to defer 100%. They're going to defer because they're going to play the long game. They want the ball at halftime. I would be like, I know it's not what they want, but I would love for the Bills to win the toss so we can go out there first. Seriously. I want Rodgers to make that statement. Like, think about it like this. If
I like your scenario better, no question. Yeah. I want what you have, what you laid out. I want that to happen too, 100%. But just in reality, like seeing yesterday's games, can Aaron Rodgers go out there in the first drive and score a touchdown? 1,000%. It's not a question in my mind that he can do it, but I feel so confident in our defense that I don't think that they're going to be able to move the ball at all in the first drive. They're really going to struggle, and it's going to be able to set the tone. And I that's why I say I'd rather the defense go out there first to set the tone, and the offense can go second, because it's not like, for me, it's a mortal lock that the defense does that. Like, the defense just looks that good. It really does. If I was a betting man, I'd be willing to say they're punting on that first drive. I'd bet a ton of money on it. But I do think that there is a possibility, because the Bills defense is good. If we weren't playing the Bills, if we were playing some some other team that's not a Super Bowl contender, I'd say, yeah, sure, the offense can go out there and definitely score a touchdown on the first drive. But the Bills have a very good defense. And if the Jets go out there and don't score a touchdown on that first drive, and they do the opposite, they do what we want to do to them, and they shut us out, and we go 3 and out, that sets a tone for their defense at home. Whereas I know our defense is going to shut them down. They're going to put pressure on Josh Allen. He's going to be on his back, whether we get a sack or not. He's going to get hit in that first drive.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to put pressure on Josh Allen that first drive. And I can almost guarantee that. And if we can shut them out, that puts a lot of pressure on their defense, knowing that they have no idea what to expect from this offense, and they're going to make mistakes because they're going to be pressing. They're going to make mistakes because, oh shit, our offense didn't perform. Their defense is the real deal. We need to figure this shit out. We got to get some turnovers because we're going to have to win this game on defense. And Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to technically pick you apart because you're going to make mistakes at the line, and show your hand. He's so good at it. Whether he has to check down and run, whether he has to swing past the entire game, he's going to figure out how to stop your defense.
So let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
If we're down 17-10 into the second half, we get the ball back, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I mean, I'm very disappointed that our defense let up 17 points at the half, because I think that's going to be their score for the game. I think they're only going to score 17 points at most for the game, and I think that's being very generous in my opinion. Our defense is that good. I really truly believe our defense is that good. Like, our cornerbacks are lockdown cornerbacks on both ends. Michael Carter is probably the best nickel cornerback in football. If not, he's top 5 for sure. You can't even argue that. He's
top
that
3.
good. Yeah, I agree, but I'm just trying to, so I'm not sounding like a homer. Then we have an offensive line or defensive line that could start our backups could start on any other team in the league. And an all-pro in Quinnen Williams, who had double-digit sacks, Jermaine Johnson, who's expected to have a breakout year, Carl Lawson, who's still a very good player. We have John Franklin Myers, who 2 years ago was explosive and made tons of plays. And then we have our rookie Will McDonald, and our third down Bryce Huff, who in my opinion should be on the field more. I wish he could do other things than rush the quarterback, but the the guy every time he's on the field, he's making plays. So I don't think any team that we face, it's going to be very difficult for the quarterback to have time to throw the ball and get guys to have these routes that develop. So you're going to have to either dump it off to swing routes and hope your tight ends are good and they can get open on quickly against our linebackers, because they're going to struggle against our corners, their wide receivers, every team, especially the Bills. And he's not going to have time to throw it. There's going to be tons and tons of pressure with just 4 guys. We're not bringing blitzes. We're bringing 4 guys. Everybody else is in coverage. So now you have to make decisions. He made unforced errors last year because we pressured him so much. He was like, just like Sam Darnold, seeing ghosts. He's like, oh, crap, they're here, throwing it left and right and making mistakes because we put so much pressure on Josh Allen. I think that's not going to change. Whether it's our first-line guys or our second-line guys, they're going to be around his feet all of the time. I expect 5+ sacks from our defense today. I truly do. We had 5 sacks in the first game. I think we got better. They're going to be prepared for this. Don't get me wrong, but I think we got better. And if we get a lead, forget about it. Forget about it. If we get a lead, our defense is going to pin their ears back, and they're going to just send the house all night at Josh Allen, and he's going to throw interceptions to Sauce Gardner. Like, there's reports. People are saying that they're not even going to throw it Sauce's way. Like, they're not even going to bother. He lit up 54 total yards last year.
Yeah.
54 total yards, no touchdowns. The guy is already playing in his second year at an all-pro level. He played that in his rookie year. If he can carry that over, and he looks like that type of guy, like he seems like a very humble guy, doesn't drink, doesn't party. He just wants to win, wants to be great. And it's gonna be very tough to get open for Stefan Diggs and Gabe Davis and that offense.
I think they're going to throw at Sauce. I think that the narrative of Sauce being handsy and getting away with it as a rookie is too prominent. I think they're going to be like, because you got to think of it, like the Bills are going to try to make a statement, dude. They're going to try to make a statement. The Jets are the 12th in town.
That deep ball to Stefan Diggs early.
Yeah, I mean, but that was the first play, and it was a double move. Sauce read it wrong, cool, and then Stefan Diggs was a non-factor the rest of the game. I think that all the egos out there, right, between Allen, Diggs, McDermott, they're gonna test Sauce early, and I honestly,
I hope they do.
I think they're gonna catch Sauce on a couple PIs. I think they're gonna catch him because, like, if you watch the preseason, if you watch the training camp, he is a little handsy, but not anything that other people don't get away with. But the fact that he already has the narrative out there that he's handsy, refs are looking for it. You know what I mean?
I think it's,
and we never get calls. We never get calls. We know this. So I'm going into this. That's an X factor for me. That's an X factor too. We never get calls. Our quarterbacks get hit late. Garrett Wilson got hit. Fucking late. 5-6 seconds after the play against the Bills, got planted. No flags. We don't get calls. I think that's gonna be an X factor early.
I think times are changing for the Jets. I really do. So. I think we're gonna get the Aaron Rodgers effect as far as the calls go. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to get a lot more calls. I think our defense is going to get away with a lot more. I think the NFL wants the Jets to win because of the narrative.
I hope so.
And also just forget about all of that nonsense. It is 9/11 home game in New York. If they start giving us terrible calls, it will be bad in that stadium. It'll get crazy. They'll turn on the refs really, really quick.
Yep.
But Nando in the chat, he goes, I think Stefan Diggs is gonna get frustrated, and I agree with him. I'm with Nando. I think Stefan Diggs is gonna get very frustrated with being shut down by Sauce. I think there's already a riff between him and Josh Allen. I think there's already some cracks in that glue and that chemistry. At least Stefan Diggs is upset with something that's going on over there, and if Sauce shuts him down, keeps him to only 1 or 2 catches, I don't think Stefan Diggs is going to respond well. He might even shut down and take plays off. He's known to do that when he gets frustrated. So if that is the case, which I think is going to be, Josh Allen's going to have even a harder time getting the ball out because he's going to get all of this pressure, and one of his wide receivers is half in the game. But that's what's expected from a guy like Sauce Gardner. Like, that's what's on his shoulders right now. Like, that's the expectations that we have of him as a cornerback in this league. And experts, not just us Jets fans, agree with us. Like, that's the type of respect he has earned already. And if he doesn't perform to that level, then we're going to have a lot of questions about our defense. Like, if Sauce cannot repeat his year of last year, and even just repeat, not even improve, just stay as good as he was last year, because he was so freaking good. I expect improvements, don't get me wrong, but if he could repeat, we're okay with that. Like, I am okay with that type of production.
100%. And I think that the moment Josh Allen throws one hospital ball, one ball to avoid Sauce to go across the middle, and Quincy absolutely disintegrates Diggs or Davis or somebody, that whole offense is going to start turning on them. The fact that their best receiver is already flustered going into this season. You heard McDermott say that it was alarming that he didn't report. And then he walked it back and was just like it was nothing. That's real. That's real. And when you're in a high pressure, it's the first week of the season, but this is a high pressure game, right? Dolphins win, kinda. Pats lose. Okay. They look good though. Jets Bills are at the forefront of setting themselves apart from the rest of the division tonight. Bills have been AFC, or they've been conference championship favorites.
AFC East champs
for 3 years now.
Yep,
4 years.
Yep,
3 years.
My man nine-figure Nick's in the chat says, "What's up, guys?"
Nine-figure Nick, that's Stacks. Check out his music when you get a chance, bro. That dude's real.
But no, you're 100% right. There's already bad juju in that building right now. There's already a riff, and our defense poses a big problem for guys like Stefon Diggs and Josh Allen. They're going to put pressure. They're going to force errant throws, and he's going to struggle. Like, I truly believe the Bills can't be stupid and be like, all right, let's look at what we got here. These cornerbacks are very good. We're going to really struggle on the outside. We got to figure something else out. And that's why I think the Kincaid Knox narrative might be their best route, running the ball with James Cook. Like, if James Cook turns out to be what he can be, that's a problem. He's going to be good. He's going to be he can catch the ball. He could run the ball. He can be explosive. He can score in any play. But he has to prove himself still. And it's a tough sledding for James Cook against his defense.
Comes down to our linebackers. Down to our linebackers. Aaron
Rodgers is 9 for his last 9 on Monday Night Football.
I saw that.
9 for his last 9 on Monday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers shows up in a lot of these big games. He's very known for that. He's a big moment quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers is very well aware of the chatter that he's washed. He's very well aware of the chatter that he can't do it anymore. He's only got one Super Bowl. He's only been there one time. Like, he's a smart guy. Like, he's very well aware and in tune with what's going on. And I think he sees an opportunity with the Jets to win maybe two Super Bowls with this team and have a true legacy as one of the greatest, if not the greatest quarterback of all time, statistically and winningly wise. It doesn't have as many as Tom, but I mean, let's be real. Aaron Rodgers' statistics is top of the list when it comes to every passing statistic there is.
You look at talent. Look at the talent, the arm talent, the mobility, the acumen behind the line of scrimmage. It's up there with Brady. It's up there with Manning. And for him, he's just like all the other greatest competitors of all time. He's just like the Michael Jordans. Yep. He's just like those guys, man. He finds reasons. Bro, he was jawing at a Giants fucking second or third string D lineman because he was disrespected. That's what you want to see. I can't tell you the last time.
I don't even know who you are.
Yeah. And the guy goes, I don't know who you are. He goes, bullshit. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. when was the last time we had a quarterback that had that kind of moxie, right? And
Never,
I remember
never,
I remember during Darnold's draft, what was that, 2017, 2018, whatever that was. I was like, I want Baker Mayfield just because he has that moxie. Just because of that. Because I haven't seen a quarterback for the Jets have that kind of like fuck you factor to them.
Yeah,
And not only does Rodgers have it, he has the credentials and the talent and the respect to use it.
So,
And I think everyone on this team is going to fucking be like that. They're all going to act like that. They're going to feel that way. And if Rodgers gets hit late out of bounds, it's not going to be like when Zach was getting hit late out of bounds against the Patriots or the Bills. This team is going to rush the field.
oh, no
It's
question.
going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a fist fight.
No, these
And
guys,
that's
these
the
guys
difference.
love Aaron Rodgers. They will go to war for Aaron Rodgers. You can see that already. No, I really think we can point back to his back-to-back MVP seasons. Right before those MVP seasons, everybody was saying Aaron Rodgers is done. He's washed.
Yep.
He's over. No more top of the league. What did he do? He said, okay, I'm going to show you guys. They drafted Jordan Love because they think I'm done. I'm going to go back-to-back MVPs and dominate the league. And he literally has the best touchdown to interception ratio in football history. The guy doesn't turn the football over. If our defense keeps teams to under 18 points per game, they had 18.6 points per game last year, 18.7 points game, last year. If they can keep it to that, they're going to win games. Aaron Rodgers is going to score more than 18 points a game. Point blank, period. Like that's not even something that I'm worried about. Like I really am. I'm not worried one bit about Aaron Rodgers in today's NFL in 2023, where the wide receivers can run wide open in the middle and not get touched, and the running back, like it's a totally different game than it was 20 years ago. 20 points is not a lot of points in today's NFL. Like that's a low scoring game. If you look at the over-unders, that's a low-scoring game. So,
100%. So let's talk straight up one-for-one comparisons.
Okay. Where do you want to start?
I want to start with the biggest topic of our offseason. O-lines. Jets versus Bills. Where are you leaning?
So I think the Bills have one of the worst offensive line units in football. I think they are very, very weak at the offensive line position. And this is why I think the Jets defensive line is going to put pressure on Josh Allen, even if they had a solid offensive line, like a B level, not even an A level offensive line. The Jets defense is that good. I think they'd put pressure on them. But because the Bills offensive line is one of the weakest units in football, they're going to struggle. The Jets offensive line, I wouldn't even say is weak, because last year when all was healthy, they played very at a B level tier. They weren't amazing. They weren't like one of the best units in football by any stretch of the means, but they were very serviceable and they did a very good job in many cases. Whereas I think if Becton can play up to his potential, he could be a top level tackle in the league. He's that big, that talented, and that explosive if he's healthy. So they have a lot of questions on the offensive line, but tonight's a very good litmus test for that. They're playing a tough defensive line. Ed Oliver is one of the best defensive tackles in the league. They have a very good defensive unit, and I really think that it's possible that they put some pressure on Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers is very good at pre-reading the defense and going to be able to check out and make adjustments properly. So it's going to be a chess match. Our offensive line, it could be turned into a top unit. Like if Mekhi Becton is Mekhi Becton, like he's going to pancake people left and right like he did in that preseason game. Like he's going to put people on their ass. And with our running game and with our play action and with Aaron Rodgers and our wide receivers, we're going to be able to cover up any flaws that offensive line might have. So I think we win that one. What about you?
I agree. And I think the biggest thing too, like when we're comparing offensive lines to other lines, like in the AFCs, so to speak, I think it has to be contextual, right? It's not only is it our offensive line, but it's our offensive line versus their defensive line. Yep. I think whatever ground we give as an O-line, I think we make up for in spades as our defensive line. I don't think any offensive line in the AFC East is better against our defensive line than our offensive line is against any of their defensive lines.
Agreed.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
So I think if you like pick the battles, I think that our defensive line wins pretty much every matchup.
Mason in the chat
East.
says if they're healthy, they could be a top 8 unit, and I agree. I think they can be a top 10 unit, maybe not top 8, but very possible. If they could stay healthy. Dwayne Brown proved himself last year when he was healthy. He played at a very high level, even at his advanced age. Langston Tomlinson, he hasn't proven himself as a Jet, but maybe because he knew the offensive unit was trash and didn't give his best effort, but now maybe the new culture, the change of quarterback, and Super Bowl possibility like he had with the
chance for a ring,
like he had with the 49ers when he played at a Pro Bowl level, that turns it around, and he's now playing at a Pro Bowl level like the guy we thought we were getting from the 49ers. Connor McGovern, I don't expect him to play at a Pro Bowl level at all, but I think he's built a pretty solid relationship with Aaron Rodgers as the center, and I think he could play a decent role and stop the gap and not let up a ton of sacks. And obviously AVT is going to be an All-Pro right there.
Yeah.
We know he could play at an All-Pro level at multiple positions. So it's really Mekhi Becton and Langston Tomlinson are the big question marks. I know Langston Tomlinson isn't as big of a question mark to me as many people think. But Mekhi Becton is a huge one. He's a head case. I think the mental game is not there for him. I think he's really struggling, but I think he's working. Like you could see his relationship and how Aaron Rodgers shouts him out constantly. Like Aaron Rodgers is, I think, taking these guys under his wing, and like he's putting his trust and faith in some of these guys, and I think that says a lot about guys like Mekhi Becton. When Aaron Rodgers is like, "Yo, I'm going to bat for this guy. I think he can be good," and I think he's trying to help him with the mental game. I think wouldn't you want a mental game mentor like Aaron Rodgers to help you in the game of football? Like, what better way to get your mind right about the game of football than a guy like Aaron Rodgers? So it's very possible that he plays at a Pro Bowl level. Mekhi Becton has all of the talent. So our offensive line could be a top 10 unit for sure.
I agree. And, I worry about Laken because he was next to Trent Williams. I worry about Mekhi because during the draft, when we picked him up, I know I texted you personally, and I told you I do not like his mechanics with how he runs. I don't like his posture. I don't like his lower half. I think he's injury prone. You told me to fuck off. It's all bullshit. I was right. It's okay, but it's fine. At the end of the day, I think he's made the changes.
Clock is right twice a day, my friend. Clock is right twice a day.
Hey, when it comes to movement, I'm right all times of the day. But either way, I think that exactly what you said. I think Aaron Rodgers made him feel part of the team, and I think he wants to be here now. And I think the locker room cancers are gone. Now, further extending this point, I feel like skill position wise, I think we're deeper. We might not have the ceiling as the Bills, but I think we're deeper. I like it. Tight ends, I think we're more proven. I love Knox and Kincaid. Cool. But I think the next big question that everybody talks about is quarterback. Are you taking Josh Allen or are you taking Aaron Rodgers?
That's a silly question.
Okay.
I really think Bills fans and NFL fans that are tired of hearing about the Jets narrative are going to take Josh Allen every single time. I could already see that because they, for whatever reason, like the people just love to hate on the Jets. Like if Aaron Rodgers didn't go to the Jets, went to another team, I really doubt they'd be getting such negative coverage as the Jets are getting from a lot of mainstream outlets.
I agree.
So I think it's very possible that Josh Allen has a better, more passing yards at the end of the year.
More rushing yards.
More rushing yards at the end of the year. But I think if I'm put a gun to my head and I had to pick a quarterback to win a championship this year, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers every single time, 10 times out of 10, not even thinking twice about it. Aaron Rodgers has proven himself to not turn over the ball. He's clearly, a guy who's not going to give the ball up and put the team in bad positions. When you have a great defense, what more can you ask for? That's all you need. Like if you have a defense at the level of the Jets are at, all you need is a quarterback that's not going to turn the ball over, and you're going to win a ton of football games, a lot of football games. So I think Aaron Rodgers has earned that respect, being a 4-time MVP. 1 year removed. Like it's so wild to me that the narrative is that Aaron Rodgers is washed. He's 1 year removed from going back to back as MVP of the NFL, back to back, and played unbelievable football. And with the 1 year he didn't play with the offensive coordinator that he's back with, he got hurt. Not only did he get hurt, he wasn't happy with the team. He clearly wasn't all there, mentally. Like clearly wasn't putting in the same effort that he is right now. Not going to OTAs and preseason games, etc. So I think you're allowed to have one down year. And what's crazy is the down year he had is still better statistically than every single Jets quarterback year ever. Like ever, literally ever. His one down year is better than all of the Jets quarterbacks years. Like it's insane to me.
Yeah, I mean that's huge, and I'm on the same wavelength as you. Like everyone else chooses Josh Allen, right? You got the youth, you got the fact that he can run the ball, big arm, he's got great stats. But when I think about our schedule and I think about the defenses we're going to face, right? The Cowboys, the Eagles, the Chiefs just got Chris Jones back. You're thinking about all this shit. The Browns is going to be ridiculous. I mean, don't sleep on the Browns. Honestly, that game I'm worried about.
I'm with you, dude. I've been very high on the Browns and their defense. I think their defense is going to be a top unit. Phenomenal. No, the Cowboys as well. Like next week is got a lot. Watching that defense made me like, oh wow, like the Cowboys are going to be a slobber knocker regardless of how Dak Prescott plays. Like that defensive unit, Mekhi Parsons is all as advertised. And it looks like deserves to be compared to guys like LT. He is all over the field.
100%. I hate to say it, but to me, Micah Parsons is the next coming of Lawrence Taylor. But
he has to put years together. But yes,
100%.
I agree. He's that level of play, very very good.
Yeah,
but
aesthetically, I see it.
Next week's game is a lot tougher than I thought was originally in the beginning of the year. I really did. I didn't think the Cowboys were that good, but their defense is very real, very very real. But I'm with you, dude. I don't think Josh Allen has failed to show up in the big game every year.
Exactly.
Every year. Exactly. He's failed to show up in the big game, and he has failed to show up against the Jets every year. Like he's struggled mightily. Like look at his stats against the Jets every single year, even when we were shit. He did not put up good numbers. He struggled. Even when our defense, Salah's rookie year as a head coach, he still struggled against the Jets. So maybe at the end of the year he might have more passing yards. He might have more rushing yards. He maybe even more touchdowns than Aaron Rodgers at the end of the year. But again, the Jets I think have more weapons because I think running back is a big win for the Jets. Just like a tight end. James Cook is good. Don't get me wrong. I hyped him up earlier, but
Damian Harris for the Bills.
Dalvin. I think Levante Murray is on their team.
Oh Latavius.
Sorry, Savard. Yeah. Sorry, I'm terrible with names.
Yes, you are.
I'm fucking atrocious. I just throw them out there. But
Lamont Jordan.
Yeah, Lamont. Oh man, good times. Lamont Jordan. Good times. He was so underrated. Loves Lamont Jordan, but great change of pace back for Curtis. But I really think that we're gonna dominate the running game. We're gonna win that, and I think because we have so many more weapons, Aaron Rodgers' statistics aren't going to be as maybe Josh Allen puts up 45 touchdowns and Aaron Rodgers puts up 38. You know what I'm saying, kind of thing. Like because we're gonna have a ton of rushing touchdowns from our running backs. We're gonna have a ton of plays that are going to take away from Aaron's stats. But one thing I bet Aaron Rodgers will do better than Josh Allen. I wonder. Actually, I'm going to look and see if there's a prop bet that I could make that Aaron Rodgers has less touchdowns than Josh Allen, and I wonder what the odds
there's a
are on
lot of good prop bets, dude.
Vegas
You
is
should pull that up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good prop bets. I think there was one that was like Aaron Rodgers anytime passing touchdown, and it was plus something. I mean, I would look at that. But either way, I think the difference is that Rodgers can adapt to each defense we see. Allen can't. Allen is who he is. He's going to try to bulldoze every defense he sees, throw it deep, run the ball. That's it. Rodgers is going to morph to whatever he sees. And I think that just gives our defense an opportunity to play the game, right? Josh Allen, when he does that, like let's say Allen against the Cowboys, that defense is going crazy.
Yep.
He throws a pick at his own 30. They run it back in for a touchdown. I don't see Rodgers doing that. I don't see Rodgers doing that. At the very least, we're going to go 3 and out, punt it, give the defense a chance. They go, we stop them, we get the ball, we get stopped. You know what I mean? It's going to be back and forth. I think Rodgers keeps us in the game better than Allen does. And the biggest issue with people is that Allen is a game breaker, right? Yeah, Allen is a game breaker because he has a big arm and he can run. But I think, personally, Rodgers is a bigger game breaker because he can find the open target. And he's more accurate. There's more finesse. He's like the counter striker. He's going to find that opening, and he's going to fucking take it home. So I take Rodgers over, I think, personally, over anyone in the AFC East. I love Tua, personally. He's a lefty. I'm a lefty. You know, brown dudes.
I don't think he's going to stay healthy, but yes, I think he's a good player.
I don't think he will either. He's gonna hit his head once off the turf, and we're gonna play Mike White when we first play.
In week 12, I think so too.
Yeah.
I joke with my fish friends. I'm like, you might look good now, but by the time we play you in week 12, Mike White's your quarterback, so good luck. But I think a very important aspect of this game, and I want to ask you, because when you look at a lot of football games and you look at the turnover battle.
Yep.
A lot of times the teams that win the turnover battle win the football game. In most cases, it's very rare that it happens where the team that wins the turnover battle loses. And the Jets have been on that case a few times. I've seen it happen with the Jets because we're the Jets.
The last 30 years.
Where we win the turnover battle and lose. But if you're looking at this game, who do you expect as a quarterback to have more turnovers in this game? We're both playing high-powered defenses. You got to give credit where credit is due. The Bills' defense is good. But between the two quarterbacks, if you had to choose, like you're looking at them like, all right, gun to my head, which quarterback is going to throw interception? Which one are you picking?
It's Josh Allen.
Every time. It's not even close.
It's the history. I mean, let's think about it, bro. He threw a bullshit pick to Jordan Whitehead. Whitehead should have had another pick that game. Sauce takes an easy pick. It wasn't even a good play by Sauce, right? Like, no. It bothers me when the Jets social media posts that pick because Sauce was just playing a zone. Yes, he made a good read. Like, he stayed disciplined to his zone, and he caught the pick. But Allen threw it right to him.
Right to him.
Allen threw it right to him.
Right to him.
Why? Because he's getting chased from the backside. And if you watch that play over again, which I did 100 fucking times, Allen is looking like, oh, my receiver ran the wrong route. Bro, your receiver didn't run the wrong route. You can't throw on the run. You're not Mahomes.
That was his issue coming into the draft, and this is why I was glad we took Darnold over him, is because he had really big accuracy issues coming into the league.
Paid off. Darnold is an all-star.
And paid off really well. No, I actually just think Darnold hasn't gotten an opportunity. I think you plug him into that San Francisco offense with Kyle Shanahan. I think he looks just like Brock Purdy. I really do.
Except for he could throw it deeper.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
Yeah,
give him a chance, and he's going to throw it deeper.
No, Brock. I keep Brock in. He's playing fucking unbelievable. Great quarterback, and that team's going to be. I think it's going to be. We'll do that at the end of the show to close it out. But
put me in that offense, dog. I'm ready.
Fuck, little Eric Fajardo running around. Oh my goodness. But no, I do think he's got. It's not just accuracy issues because, when he's got time in the pocket, he's going to thread the needle. He's going to put it in a tight window all the time, even on the run. Even on the run, he does a lot of rollouts, things like that. when he's not under pressure. I think that's the big game changer is when there's feet around his feet. When when he's got a lot of bodies around him, he really struggles. He doesn't know what to do. He looks panicked. He doesn't look comfortable in the pocket, and he makes terrible, terrible decisions with the football. We've seen it so many times, especially against the Jets. But we've seen it in the playoffs. He's got a lot of primetime games where we get the opportunity to watch Josh Allen, and he turns the ball over. He's known to do so.
Yeah.
So against the Jets defense, with a guy like Aaron Rodgers who's going to be able to score, like if you turn the ball over inside in Jets territory, the Jets are going to score every time. They're going to score. It's not like last year where we had a guy like Zach Wilson. We're like, holy shit, we got the ball inside the 50. Let's we better score here. Like, we're like, oh my God, we can't blow this. And every time we blow it, you know.
But that's my biggest thing, though. That's my biggest thing, right? Like Josh Allen, like. And personally, I wanted him. I liked him a lot. Like, I really did.
I don't think Josh would have been developed under Adam Gase, so he would have been...
No, 100%. Anyone who would have got drafted that year would have been a fucking waste.
Yeah. It didn't matter who we drafted.
It's like you see these plays, right? And I won't say that he's bad under pressure, like in terms of like pressure of the moment necessarily. But I don't think he's good in playoff football. And what I mean by that is I don't think he's good because playoff football is very specific. I don't think he's good when everyone's trying to fucking kill each other. And I think with the stakes tonight, with the fact that it's our first home game, the crowd's going to be packed. They're going to be rocking that Jets chant at 7:30, and they better be. I think that this is going to feel like playoff football. You have a
on
postseason.
9/11, absolutely.
On 9/11, you have a postseason quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is a postseason. Like at the end of the day, this guy led the Packers to 3 straight 13-win seasons.
Yep.
This is a postseason quarterback. This is a postseason defense.
This is a Super Bowl quarterback.
This is a Super Bowl quarterback. They're gonna feel postseason football tonight, and I think they're gonna fucking crumble. I think they're gonna crumble. I think Josh Allen's gonna crumble, not from the pressure. But from the pressure, from that D-line, from everyone, every time one of our guys makes a hit, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be explosive. All of our guys hit hard. So, even you saw in the Giants preseason game, Michael Carter fucking comes up, cracks, what's his name, our former tight end that we let go that went to the Giants, absolutely blasts him. Every hit we have, Tyrod Taylor almost got killed again. That's where we're at.
It's going to be a very tough game for Josh Allen, in my opinion. I don't expect a good game from him. I don't expect them to move the ball very well, and I don't expect any big explosive plays from that offense today. I really don't. But I think that the pressure of tonight's game, Eric, I fully expect. Like, do you remember when we played the Patriots? That one game for the wild card.
Oh my! When I was at your house.
Yeah. How loud it was.
I don't know how loud it was because you gave me a specific substance that ruined the rest of my day. But yes, I remember the stakes. Go ahead.
The stadium was packed. It was so loud. And I wish I had the clip of it. It was deafening in the stadium. And we need that kind of energy today.
I think we're gonna get it.
And I think so too. We need to. I hope people are watching the show. But if you're watching at the game tailgating, start heading into the stadium.
Right now, get in there. Turn this off. Watch it back later.
Get into the stadium now. Don't be watching us because you should be in your seats for kickoff. Like that first Jets chant, like the entire world should be able to hear it. It should be electric. And I expect nothing less from Jets fans. I mean, it's been a long time since we've had a season like I said last week. Even in the 09 or in the 10 season after we went to the AFC Championship and lost, and we were coming back with that stacked defense, and we're adding pieces. we still had Mark Sanchez. It was still like, all right, we could win games, but like Mark needs to make that big jump, which he never did. Even though we made it to the AFC Championship again, and we should have won that game. It wasn't like preseason excitement as it is right now. Like this has never happened in my life as a Jets fan. Maybe 98, but I was 10. You know, I was a kid. You know, in my adult life, definitely not. So we need everybody to be there. I almost considered flying home. If I didn't have a handicapped dog, I would have flown home to go to this game. If I
didn't have a handicap bank account, I would have went to this game.
Yeah, there's a thing, the checking and the savings, how it works. But for everybody, it's packed. It's sold out.
Yeah.
You know, Jets fans have been anticipating this for so long, since Aaron Rodgers signed on the dotted line and became a New York Jet. Since he made that announcement on Pat McAfee, and he's like, I want to be a New York Jet. I actually can't wait till after the game to sit down and watch the interview with John McEnroe and Aaron Rodgers, because that's going on as well. I really do want to see that, because Aaron Rodgers seems to be opening up, and he's like, yo, it was always the Jets. Like, no, there was no other team. There was no other team. It's the Jets. I had no other ambitions to play anywhere else. I wanted to come here. And we've I don't think ever, like, even when we were like courting Le'Veon Bell, and like I was like, oh man, that'd be cool to have a running back of that caliber on our team. Like, we've never had this before. I
had his jersey.
Yeah, I want a guy like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, even that, like, it's not like he wanted to be here. Like, Aaron Rodgers wants to be here. It's never happened in my life where a guy like Aaron Rodgers wants to be on the Jets. So I'm really, really excited for tonight's game. But I want to do a deep dive into the defense to close out the show, because we've only brushed up on the defense. We didn't really get into it. And on the defensive level, I think that the Bills have more of an advantage in more positions. I think our D-line wins, but it's not like way better. And if they had Von Miller, it'd be even closer. I still think we win with Von Miller. But their defensive line is a solid defensive unit. Their linebackers, I think, might be better, and their safeties. But our cornerbacks should be one of the best in football.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, this is what I think. I think that they have a very well-rounded defense, and I think they match up well. I think their D-line is better than people are giving them credit for.
No question.
Even without Von Miller. Yeah, even without Von Miller, I think they're really good. I like their scheme. They're going to blitz. They're especially if we get the ball first, they're going to test that blitz that they used against Mike White, right? And either Aaron Rodgers makes him pay right away, or he gets hit right away, whatever the case may be.
Different offensive scheme.
Totally different offense. I mean, a little bit different. Not totally different. A little bit different. Same philosophy. Little different.
Yes.
But I think the biggest difference is that there's going to be – the play is going to get changed at the line. I don't think I saw Zach Wilson change the play at the line, once last year. Maybe twice he did.
But that's expected. He's in his second year. Like, Mark Sanchez
didn't really
figure it
out, though. Figure it out. But either way, I think that the linebackers for the Bills are a big X factor.
Yes.
I think that – depending on our personnel on offense is going to matter. I do not want to see Michael Carter on third down. I'm sorry. I do not want to see him on third down. He cannot block anybody. He's too small. I love him. He tries his very best, but anytime he gets hit, he gets a concussion. I don't want to see it.
He's on his back.
He's on his back. I don't want to fucking see it.
Nope.
I love Conklin in there. Uzama's a little bit suspect. I think Ruckert will get pulled in the second half and then take over from game one on. Just like to parlay into this, I love their safeties. I wish we had one of them, honestly. I love their safeties. I like our cornerbacks more. I love their safeties. It's a great matchup. I think scheme-wise, their defense is probably better than ours. Our defensive scheme is very simple. But I think the X factor is Rodgers. But moving forward, to kind of wrap it all up into one, if we're talking score predictions, I still think we're 24-17. I think the Bills go into the half winning 14-7. We only give up a field goal. We get 2 touchdowns and a field goal. And Our defense makes adjustments. Our offense makes adjustments. We close it out. It's a solid win, and we go into a very tough Dallas game, which I will be at next week. Where are you at?
I think that something that we didn't touch on is Tony Adams. I'm very excited to see what he brings to the table.
I'm nervous about him.
All reports from camp have been glowing. All reports from camp have been he is an unbelievable ball player, and that's from Jets world. So he needs to show it on tape, on in the live game, to prove to the rest of the world. But if he turns out to be a guy, we may be okay at the safety position. We may be all right if he turns out to be a guy, which is very possible. Like I'd be interested to see him if he had to battle with Chuck Clark for that position, if he actually would still win the position.
I think it's different positions. I think Chuck Clark's going to be a box safety if we have him again next year. Yeah. I think Tony Adams is the replacement for LaMarcus Joyner, who was absolute garbage.
Terrible.
We want range. We want someone who's like we want to give Sauce and DJ Reed a little more freedom to cover those guys one-on-one. And then we have this fucking ball hawk in the backfield.
And that's what we're hearing about Tony Adams. And sometimes, and this is where I was going with this. Sometimes guys on both sides of the ball, they're on defenses that don't fit their play style. Yeah. They're good ball players. They're very good, but they're in the wrong defensive scheme or the wrong offensive scheme that doesn't fit their play style, and they're not used properly. They're not put in the proper position to succeed. Where this seems like it could be Tony Adams' position to succeed, and I expect good things from him this season. I don't expect him to be a Pro Bowler, but to play at a higher level because of the talent that's around him. A lot of times, not just schemes, but when you're playing around elite level guys. Just like MMA, when you're training, you don't want to be the big fish in a small pond. You want to be the 100%. Small fish in a big pond, and you have to perform at a higher level just to survive. And when he's playing every single day with guys like DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner, who are playing at the highest level in the NFL, it forces him to step up to that level. He's taking, work ethic. He's taking little bits and pieces to get better so he can be in that room. Like, I don't know about you. I'm a competitor, dude. And anytime there's somebody that's better than me, even if it's a totally different position, but they're better than me or they're getting the spotlight, that bothers me. I want to be talked about like they are because of my talent, because of what I'm doing. And when you're in that room every single day, there's guys that, cower away from that kind of stuff. And there's guys that step up, and Tony Adams seems like he might be one of those guys to step up. And, I think our defense is going to shut them down. I really do. I don't think they're going to score much points in the first half. I think they'll get a touchdown, maybe 10 tops in the first half. I do think the Jets are going to win 28-17 on Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdowns, 2 to Garrett Wilson, 1 to Conklin, and 1 to Dalvin Cook. I do think that Aaron Rodgers is going to make a statement game in the first game of the season. He's going to show everybody, hey, I ain't washed, ladies and gentlemen. I still got it. He's going to have no interceptions, no turnovers, and play a great game. Maybe 250 yards. I don't think a 300-plus yard game. 250 yards, 4 tutties. A great game from our backfield. And I think our defense is really going to shut out Josh Allen and give him problems, and they'll be lucky to score 17 points. So I think 28-17 is the final score. Jets win in a commanding fashion.
Let's go, baby. May your prayers be answered. It's time for the fucking game, dude. Let's fucking do this shit.
We got game time in less than 45 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everybody enjoys the first Monday night game. We might be back. I don't know. When do you get back from Dallas?
I get back Monday, afternoon or something like that.
Okay, so we might not be back next week. Depending on, huh?
Maybe do something beforehand. Or
maybe we'll
whatever.
do a pre-recorded episode, but it'd be tough because the game's already happened.
Yeah.
But we'll figure it out. If not, we'll be back the following week to talk more Jets football. And yeah, enjoy the fucking game. Let's go Jets, Jets, 28-17. Let's fucking go. Big game from our defense. Big game from Aaron Rodgers. God bless America. And God bless Jets football. Jets, Jets.
Let's go.
In a city that never sleeps, where legends are born and dreams become reality, a new chapter is about to unfold. Last season, they fought valiantly, leaving their mark on the gridiron. But now, a new dawn emerges, a chance for redemption and supremacy. The Jets have honed their skills, forged their bodies, and sharpened their minds. The stage is set, and they're ready to unleash their might.
Hey, hey. No friends in the industry. I had to draw the line between my brothers and my enemies.
We said 60 minutes. One by one, we're gonna knock it down.
Keep it rap. Yeah, you hit us up and now we owe you something back. Yeah, I had to draw the line between my brothers and my enemies. My brothers and my enemies. My brothers and my enemies. Yeah, I know hey, yeah. No friends in the industry. I had to draw the line between my brothers and my enemies. A fact. Let us start if you don't want to keep it rap. Yeah, you hit us up and now we owe you something back.
We're going to be great, man. I can't wait.